You're locked in with the Innovators. Make sure to hit the subscribe button and click the notification bell. What's going on? You locked in with the Innovators YouTube. You already know I got the best interviews right here, man. Shout out to my sponsor, St. Ives Blunts. Make sure to get you one of those. I got Austin Sexton in the studio right now. How you doing, bro?
Man, the Lakers just took it. Oh, we coming back, bro. We coming back. We down 2-1. We up 2-1, but we going to be all right. I'm 100% sure of it, man. Let's go Lakers. Shout out Lakers.
Do you believe that the Lakers are going to win it all this year?
I absolutely, without a doubt, believe that we're going to win it all. Anthony Davis, LeBron James. We just need Danny Green shooting a little bit better, but we're going to get that corrected. But we also got the bald eagle, Alex Cruz, so shout out my guy.
He actually be balling.
Oh, he does, though.
His defense is fire. Who, if the Lakers win the championship, who do you think will get NBA Finals MVP?
I think it should go to Anthony Davis.
Yeah.
I mean, LeBron, like, he's an MVP regular season, postseason, all the time. Like, he always makes every single person on the floor better.
Yeah.
But I think that Anthony Davis is carrying the load of the scoring, and he's a huge defensive presence.
Yeah.
So I think at the end of the day, he'll end up probably getting the MVP because he's bringing it on both sides. Not that LeBron don't, but if it's coming to scoring, Anthony Davis probably dropping a couple, like maybe like 8 or 9 points more.
Yeah.
So.
No, I completely agree. I think that AD has definitely been carrying the offensive load for y'all, for sure.
Oh, yeah, man.
LeBron, don't get me wrong. LeBron is balling, but I'm not even a Lakers fan, but, you know, I'm seeing what y'all doing a little bit, you know. Some people say y'all getting some help from the refs, but, you know.
Hey, this game, Denver got all the calls, bro. It was crazy. We just came back 20 points, but ended up losing by a couple.
That's crazy.
Bro, it was such a crazy game. I was watching the game on the way over here.
Yeah.
And I was just like, yo, come on. And we were down 20, get in the car, start driving down here, and all of a sudden it's a 3-point game, and I'm tripping. So.
I would be. And the funny thing is, that's been Denver's MO coming back, and now the Lakers put it out on them.
Exactly.
I gotta ask you. I mean, we've seen what's been going on in the NBA. They've been very active as far as standing up against like oppression and police brutality and protesting. How do you feel about everything that's been going on with the protests, police brutality stuff that we've been seeing?
I'm 100% in support of it. I mean, like just based off of social media today, I saw a man in Wisconsin sitting out on the steps of a house that he owned, purchased, has been living there. And a neighbor called the cops on him because they didn't think that they lived there. He thought the house was getting burglarized. Wow. So the cops ran in on him, guns drawn, no warrant, no nothing, all because somebody said that there was a black man in the neighborhood who's burglarizing a house for no fucking reason.
That's crazy.
So I completely support and stand up for everything that's going on in the black community right now, trying to get everybody out there to vote because it's going to take every single one of us to, I mean, if we're just keeping it real, to make sure that we don't do the same thing we did 4 years ago and to make a change.
Yeah,
so.
Nah, for sure. Everybody go out there and vote. That's super key right now. How do you feel about the coronavirus and how has it affected you as far as like the music?
The way that it's really affected me with music is I have just started really getting a chance to tour. Yeah. That has been my one thing, and I play with a full band.
Yeah.
And a lot of the production that I do, I bring in the guys that I play with because we're like a family, you know what I mean? And they're also session players as well.
Yeah.
So not only myself, I can't go out there and do it, but these guys who also play with me, who also play with other people, they can't go out and play. So it's taken away from their steady income. They're getting their $500, $1,500 a week, however much it is. And the guys I'm playing with, like they go on tour with big names, like Elena Perez. Like I don't want to name drop too much, but big names, you know what I'm saying? So it's affected me in that way. And it's also affected me because me and 3 of my business partners, we started a studio, Playback Los Angeles in Lake Balboa, Van Nuys area. Yeah. And when that all happened, all the studios shut down, you know? Yeah. So we were unable to take clients, and we had just gotten open too. We had just finished everything.
Damn, that sucks.
A-room, B-room facility with a lounge, like build it up from scratch because it was nothing, you know? Put a whole year of going into that, all getting ready for this big release. Then Corona hits, and it's like, well, what are we gonna do? So that's really how it's affected me. But other than that, I mean, it's also kind of been a blessing in disguise. I'm not saying that coronavirus is a blessing at all, but I'm saying like you got to take the good away from the bad things because I always try to stay up. And it gave me an opportunity to really work on production, work on writing, work on engineering, all those kinds of things. So.
Yeah. How do you think it will affect the music industry moving forward? You think like there'll ever be another Rolling Loud or a EDC or something like that again? Or
well, I've seen overseas, I think particularly in London, they just had a festival and they did it. Crazy. They did it by grid. So you go in a single file line 6 feet apart, and you have to reserve your spots, and you can go in a group of 5 or 6, I believe.
Yeah.
And it's on a big plot of land, and if you kind of picture like a chessboard or a checkers board,
Yeah.
where it's got all those squares, everybody has to stay within their vicinity. I forget how big each block was.
Wow.
But that's how they were doing it there. Now, my question is, like, you want to go get a beer or something like that.
Yeah,
how does that work?
Yeah,
you go, I use the bathroom and shit, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But, like, I see that we're trying to take steps in the direction of being able to make that happen again.
Right.
I don't see it happen until 2021, probably.
Yeah.
But I think that eventually we'll get there. We're either going to get to a place where it's like we're doing all of these things to really try to prevent it, or at some point where it's literally probably just going to be fuck it. That's really how I'm starting to feel.
I feel like living in LA, people are already like fuck it right now.
100%. 100%. I mean, like, and I'm not saying that I don't take the precautions to do things, because, like, as a studio facility, like, studios are back open. Like, every single session before sessions, like, we got to sanitize all the buttons on the outboard gear, wipe everything down. Everything has to be done. Everybody's got to be wearing a mask, all that kind of stuff. You know what I'm saying? But I can't really see LA holding up too much longer. I mean, if the barbershops are starting to open back up at 25% capacity, eventually it's going to go to 35%.
Also, my barber just told me I could come back to the shop.
Exactly. You know, we're opening back up. Like, it can't, like, the government can't keep giving us money like that, because eventually we're going to be more broke than it already is now from giving out stimulus and shit. But hey, shout out stimulus checks.
Yeah.
And then, but also at the same time too, it's like we can't keep doing that. And we have to be able to have small businesses making money, because I'm not the owner of that studio, but my mentor is, and my best friends are.
Yeah.
And I see how that affects them.
Yeah.
And it's I don't consider myself a small business owner, but I'm very much a part of that.
Yeah.
It affects my day to day.
Yeah.
So for the small businessman all the way up to the corporate, like the bigger corporate jobs, like, America has to open back up at some point, or we are, like, gonna hit a really, really, really bad recession already than it already is. So.
Right. No, I completely agree with you. Can you tell me, how did you grow up? Were your parents around? How was that?
Yeah, man. So I'm originally from a town called York, Pennsylvania.
Okay.
Northeast, born and bred. Lived there for 21 years.
Okay.
Before moving to Santa Barbara.
Okay.
But I grew up in a fairly white town.
Yeah.
It's probably white, then Latino. We had a big Puerto Rican population.
Yeah.
And then Black and Asian.
Okay.
But the school that I went to, small private school.
Yeah.
I was one of probably like 5 Black kids in the school.
Wow.
I mean, so grew up very, very much in a predominantly white town.
Yeah.
So moving to the West Coast was definitely a culture shock.
Yeah.
Not even just for, like, being around more Black people, but also just being around, like, the Mexican community and the Latino community.
Yeah.
Which all of my best friends are of different descent now too. You know what I'm saying? It's just like I grew up with all white people.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So now moving out here, and I've been here for a while, but I'm saying it was a huge culture shock. But yeah, mom and dad were around. Mom had me playing piano. I played 9 different instruments. Mom had me playing piano since I was 5.
Yeah.
Where everybody was out playing basketball and playing football and shit. Like, I had to come home and play for my dinner. Shit, you know. So,
Wait, what are the 9 instruments?
So I started with the piano.
Yeah.
Then in the 5th grade, I picked up the trumpet because I was in the school band and everything. Then I learned how to play the bass.
Yeah.
From learning how to play the bass, and I knew all the keys, taught me how to play guitar.
Yeah.
Then my Debbie Donovan, my 6th grade band teacher, she was a clarinet player, so she taught me how to play the clarinet and gave me a clarinet, so I knew how to play that. You know how to play the clarinet, you can learn how to play the flute, so I know how to play that, and I can also play the cello and the violin.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, and then, like, drums, but, like, I'm not really a drummer, but I can make it work for the studio.
It's funny because you had me just reminiscing. It was like a play in elementary school. And, like, everybody was getting different roles in the play, and I played the drums. And the funny thing is, my dad actually plays the piano and the guitar, all self-taught. And I never, like, I played football my whole life. Like, I wish I would have took the time to learn that. Like, my dad plays, like, that's what he does in his spare time, play the guitar and the piano. So I think that's super dope. What would you say was the hardest instrument to learn?
Probably the flute, bro. Probably either the flute or the clarinet, because when you get into, like, mouthpieces and, like, woodwind instruments, it's like it's all about the way that the reed hits the instrument, or there's a way that the breath has to be done. So I would say, actually, no, I'd probably say the clarinet. The trumpet's not that hard, but the clarinet, because that reed, it has to be like all warmed up. Everything has to be perfect. So you got to take like 15 minutes before you can even play the instrument to get it going.
Yeah.
So and then the breathing and the fingerings, it's a little crazy, but yeah, I'd say the clarinet.
Take me what was going through your mind when you decided to move to LA.
Well, I lived in Santa Barbara before I lived here. I've been here for 4.5 years now.
Yeah.
I moved down in 2016. What was going through my mind was the studio that we have now. We lived. So Santa Barbara's right outside of Montecito, and that's where like Oprah Winfrey's got houses.
Yeah.
Like the A-list celebrities all have their houses there. So the way that the studio basically made money was from ADR work.
Yeah.
So we had everybody coming doing voiceovers, commercial works. We had Geico, EA Sports, like all that kind of stuff. But it wasn't a huge music scene.
Yeah.
It's a very skate surf kind of town. It's always been that way. And as much as you're trying to kind of change the culture, it's been that way for so long there that it's never really gonna steer away from that. You know what I mean? So moving down here was an opportunity for us to open up a studio and really hone in on the market that we know and love, you know? So I was kind of in a mindset where it's like, in Santa Barbara, I'd gotten to the point where I was kind of I don't want to say big fish in a small pond, but musically I was.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, if you knew me in that town and you know me in Santa Barbara or in the 805, the Central Coast in general, you know me for music.
Yeah.
So coming from a place the 805 is very widespread, but it's very small when it comes to the music community.
Yeah.
You come to North Hollywood alone.
Yeah.
North Hollywood's music community is probably 10 times the size of Santa Barbara. It's huge. You know what
so
I'm saying?
many studios over here.
Yeah, but the beauty of music is, and especially when you work in North Hollywood or just in Los Angeles in general, if you're really a dedicated artist and like you've consistently been putting things out there and you're making the right moves, everybody knows each other. You know that degree of separation is super small.
Yeah.
You know, so my mentality was get in the right rooms, focus with your team on building this studio, build it up from the ground up, and if it's good enough and you put all your hard work into it, it's gonna come to you, you know?
Yeah.
So when we built this studio, all these people that I had been rubbing shoulders with on the side from studio sessions and whatnot started coming to our place, you know? So I just wanted to network, get in a good community, but I also wanted to focus on getting my music out there because I had taken some time off to like help build up the studio and whatnot.
Yeah.
So
No, I like that journey, and I feel like one thing you said that stuck out, you knew that if you put in the effort, you would start to see the rewards and get.
100%.
You feel me? And I feel like a lot of times people don't always realize how important it is to go through a process and fall in love with the process. And like
100%.
some people do get like instant fame and success, but it's not normal.
That's the 1%. And the thing is those people that do get that instant fame, credibility, I feel like those, and not to knock that at all, because like those songs that do come out, like that's for people not necessarily who aren't in the studio all the time, but it's just like coming off top, it's kind of free flow, trying to figure it out. But because they're not so exposed to doing it all the time, I feel like they almost kind of put out something different that people aren't used to hearing.
Yeah.
And then it blows up because, wow, this guy did something different. And it sounds a little bit crazy.
Yeah.
But if you're not in the ring all the time, like if you treat music like a boxing fight, you know what I mean? If you're not used to getting hit all the time, you're going to fall down.
Yeah, for sure.
And everybody that's been doing this for 10, 5, 8, however many years, you're battle tested, you know? Because you're used to hearing no. You're used to hearing like, oh, that's cool, but what can you do for us?
Yeah.
Oh, that's dope. All right, late. You know, like you're used to hearing that shit. You're not battle tested. So these niggas that blow up, when they hear like, oh, that's all right, but what else can you give us? You know, like it starts putting the pressure on you. You start worrying about stuff. You catch that deal because you blew up, and now they think you're gonna do something crazy when they just want your pub and shit. You know what I'm saying? Like all that shit takes a toll on you. So
no, I completely agree. How would you say you kind of figured out how to maneuver yourself in the business as far as like the publishing and the paperwork side of the game? I feel like a lot of times we see that, you know, people do try to get over on artists.
Yeah. Well, to be completely transparent, I've never gotten an opportunity to get a deal.
Okay.
I'm a complete indie artist. I've had a song blow up. I've had a couple songs do really, really well.
Yeah.
And I've had people who are really high up in those industries tell me that like I'm somebody that's like meant for a grand stage.
Yeah.
It's just finding the right person to do that with. So every time I come to a situation and you talk about maneuvering and all of that stuff and the paperwork, I feel like the most efficient thing and the best thing you can do is just have everything ready. Because at the end of the day, like if you, like for me, so I produce all my own music. I write all my own music, and my team mixes and masters my own music. It's all recorded in the studio that we built. All of my best friends are videographers and stuff. Like I have a whole team of people who I'll pay out of my pocket from engineering sessions and doing all the dirty work and things that I don't want to do, not being an artist, to be able to fund my artist career.
Yeah.
I'll take everything like that. I'll make my own EPK. Like I know Photoshop like it's my job. I know Premiere like it's my job. I know Pro Tools like it's my job because it is my job.
Yeah.
You have all that packaged up. In my mind, I'm like, okay, that's great because I have everything. I own everything, right?
Right.
But the thing is, with labels and situations like that, they want to have a stake in it.
For sure.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like it's a blessing to be able to have everything, but it's also a curse because if somebody can't get stake in what you're doing, then they're like, oh, so what can you really do for us?
Exactly.
But the thing is, it's like I'm doing everything for you because you don't have to do anything. Exactly. Literally, I don't understand where the miscommunication is, you know?
Yeah.
So everything that I've done as far as like even doing stuff for more major artists who I've had opportunities to do that kind of stuff with, all that paperwork has basically been done by me and my team looking over everything, negotiations and whatnot, because we know that these things are going to come.
Yeah.
So we have to take, like, rather than listen to music while I'm driving, I'm listening to podcasts about like legality paperwork and things like that, asking friends who have gone and done the LSAT or becoming lawyers and things of that nature in the entertainment business. I'm asking them those questions, you know? Because you got to know. You got to have your own bag.
You definitely got to know for sure. And looking over paperwork and even knowing how to look over paperwork is definitely something that I tell like a lot of artists for sure. Like you got to know how to do that. You don't want to sign the wrong thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because people put anything in front of you if they think you'll sign it.
I know a lot of niggas that sign just to say they got a deal.
Yeah, exactly.
Just to say,
don't just sign to say you got a deal.
Yeah, exactly. They want that picture for the gram with the pen out and everything, signing their souls away. You know, like, it's just got to make sense.
You know, it definitely has to make sense. Can you tell me, have you ever had a normal job?
Oh, absolutely. Up until 2 years ago. Up until about a year ago.
Okay.
I was serving restaurant industry, stuff just to, I'd be engineering on the side. I'd be engineering like 20, 25 hours a week.
Yeah.
You know, but you know that LA rent ain't cheap.
No, so definitely not.
You got your boy serving out here. I'm slinging beats and slinging production on one end and slinging steaks on the other. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what it was. But it took, I feel like it's that idea of comfortability, bro. It's like you don't ever... So you want to flex, right? You want to have that. You want to be able to buy things. You want to be able to do things. You want to be able to go take the trips that you want and things of that nature, right?
Right.
But you're never really going to get to where you want, especially in this entertainment industry, unless you put 100% in. Yeah. And it took my best friend and mentor telling me like, yo, like as much as that struggle might hurt at first, how much the struggle might hurt at first, you just got to take the jump.
Yeah.
And it just so happened that the restaurant that I was working at the time was closing down.
Yeah.
So that was kind of like my inner conscience or maybe a sign from God. I don't know. But it was just like, yo, like this is the time.
Yeah.
Just do it. Just jump, you know? And it's kind of crazy. And I feel like it was some sort of higher being because I was so nervous, bro. Like I'm talking like $500-$600 in your bank account.
Yeah.
You know, like with a car payment, with a rent payment, all that kind of stuff. And I ended up mixing a song for a friend of mine, a friend of mine, right?
Yeah.
And the producer of that song is part of a really big sync company for TV and film. And he heard the mix and was like, hey, bro, like, can you offer your mixing services and your studio services to our company? And he ended up being a really good friend of mine, and we still work to this day.
Yeah.
But that job right there alone literally happened right after I lost my job. So like, I feel like that was the first step in the right direction.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So I feel like if you put that energy out there that like, this is what I'm going to do and this is what it needs to be, like those blessings will come.
Yeah.
But it's just that it's so scary to take that first
taking
job.
the jump that's, I feel like, you know, even with me, I was telling you before how I was fired at the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
I was still doing the YouTube, but it wasn't solely like only the Innovator's brand. I actually had a normal job.
Right.
But I had wanted to be solely independent, but I was scared, honestly, because I was thinking like, shit, like, can I afford to take care of myself off? This is what I like doing, you know?
Right, absolutely.
And the thing was, I kind of got kicked off the ledge, and it just allowed me to, you know, kind of figure things out, especially when like the coronavirus stuff started happening, because now it's kind of like, well, now nobody's working, so I have even more time to kind of figure out what I'm doing, and I think it was really the biggest blessing in the world, like I've got a sponsor. I've been able to find ways to make money off what I love, and I feel like nothing beats that. But I feel like now it's like I'm doing this all day. Like this is what I do. I'm focused on it,
absolutely,
and I love it.
Yeah, and you turning them around. You're doing dope shit, bro. So
yeah.
The fact that you're doing what you love is a blessing, bro. I mean,
for sure.
I mean, I don't know if you believe in like reincarnation and shit, bro, but like you're talking about, you're taking that jump.
Yeah.
You're either gonna learn to swim, or you're gonna drown.
For sure.
But if you drown, you're gonna come back as a new person, though. In my mind. So it's like whether you made it or not, it's still gonna give you an idea of what you have to do to get better. You're gonna come back from it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But the most important thing is having to take the jump.
Yeah.
Because everybody's scared to do it, but when you do it, you got no choice. But to make it happen. And I was like, I think it was about a week and a half, 2 weeks of just no income.
Yeah.
Just like, all right, got to figure this out. Reaching out. I was putting on my Instagram every day, like, hey, I'm doing mixes for $100. I'm spending 8 hours.
Yeah.
I'm spending 8 hours on a $100 mix.
Yeah.
That means I can make $300 a day.
Yeah.
That's 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, $2,100. Wait, no. I'm saying it's not that much.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So if I'm doing, it just the amount of money that I was charging just to make $1 at that time was crazy.
Yeah.
And my worth was so much more. But the thing is like I was just doing what I needed to survive.
You know? It'd be like that for sure. Mm-hmm. Can you talk about the pros and cons of being an artist?
It's interesting, bro, because I wear so many damn hats.
Yeah.
I would say the pro of being an artist is, I'm trying to think of it like strictly in that mindset.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of artists, and I'm talking signed artists.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of artists get the gratitude and the satisfaction of being the face of something, you know? Yeah. But it's not necessarily their words that they're writing or the things that they truly believe in here. Yeah. You know? So I think it's more of like the self-satisfaction part. It's a pro being an artist.
Yeah.
I actually think that there's probably more negatives to being an artist than pros.
Right.
In the grand scheme of things. And I think it also depends if you're talking independent or you're talking management type things. Yeah. I think that other than self-satisfaction and like the gratitude of being able to get your stuff out there and like you are your own entity, you are your brand.
Yeah.
I would say getting to go out in front of fans, the interaction of it, when you get to play at shows, like I miss that so much.
Yeah.
Crowd control, hearing people sing your words back to you, things of that nature, you know?
I feel like that would be, that's an amazing feeling.
Yeah, it's an amazing feeling for sure. But I definitely think that there's probably more negatives in the grand scheme of things. Yeah. Like in the overall picture, not to like damper it or anything, but like I think that it comes with a lot of headaches.
Yeah.
But I also think that if you're doing it right, it can definitely lead to a lot of positive things. Yeah. But overall, I would say the most beneficial and the most fun part of being an artist is probably live performances. Yeah. No question.
Right. No, I completely agree. I miss going to shows for sure.
Oh, man. I miss it too, bro.
First, when did you start getting into making music?
Well, I've been playing for forever. When I was in like the 7th, 8th grade, when I learned how to play the guitar, I do like little bands with my classmates and stuff like that. We make songs.
Yeah.
But like really recording, I've been writing since I was probably 14.
Yeah.
But actually putting it down on the Pro Tools and like cutting a CD and stuff like that, probably not until I was 21.
Okay.
So about 8 years.
Okay. Yeah. And how did people react to you when you first started?
Oh, it's trash. 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 No, not even a question. But I think that I feel like that there's people out there though. If you know my catalog of work, like, and this would probably be more for the people in Pennsylvania who know me.
Yeah.
I put out this 5-song. I was a singer. I started as a singer-songwriter, bro. So it's like I gotta, and my whole swag and demeanor from being in Pennsylvania did not translate to hear. So it's like I'm talking like I'm wearing like a puka shell necklace, collar pop, ripped jeans, Abercrombie and Fish type shit with like an acoustic guitar.
Yeah.
You know? So and there was probably a market for that, but it was like my first time really getting my songs out there.
Yeah.
And I was really gassing it up, like, like, oh yeah, I'm out here. And like a lot of my friends, like the big joke with a lot of my friends is like, you can tell you're from the East Coast if you're in on the West Coast and you're calling California Cali. Yeah. So I'd be like, oh yeah, went out to Cali, made this project, like, about to just take over the radios right now. You know what I'm saying? And then it drops, and not knowing anything about social media at the time, because keep in mind, this is 2012, 13 when this is coming out, you know, like Spotify's just kind of coming onto the market. Apple Music is just kind of coming out there. You're in that mindset of like, yo, I'm about to drop this song and I'm about to be famous. Yeah. And every artist can relate to this shit. Yeah. You drop that shit and you go like 200 plays and you're like, oh shit. And it was to the point where like I bought like 1,000 CDs. Yeah. Like the hard copies. Wow. like thinking like this is gonna take over, you know? Yeah. So it was a hard thing. You know, it was a hard reality. But I think that was definitely a huge growing experience, you know, and learning. And it made me kind of switch my style up. But at the same time, too, that's when I was just learning Pro Tools. That's when I was just learning how to record. Like, I didn't even know how to, like, take a 1/4 inch, plug it into the interface. Yeah. I didn't know nothing about EQ, compression, reverbs, nothing, you know? Yeah. And I wasn't even a producer at that point yet, you know? Yeah. So when I first started, I sound like I was about 20, you know? I sound like I was just trying to figure it out. But my ego was trying to gas myself like, yeah, this is it. You're going to take over the world. So I'd say the transformation is night and day. No question.
It's super funny because I always like to ask people how do people react when they first started making music, because I feel like from the biggest artists to the smallest artists, it's like they'll tell you like, man, when I first started, man, people were not rocking with it. But I feel like it still takes a lot as a person to get through that initial rejection, you know, because some people start something and people don't like it and they just completely stop.
Oh, absolutely, you got to stick with it. Yeah, because like I kind of looked at it like this is what I meant to do. Like I've been playing piano since I was 5, bro. Like I went to college and everything. Like I was gonna be a history teacher, you know. But when I came out here, like this was my calling. Like I'm now like fully. Like no government checks, no nothing. Like I am fully every day. I'm mixing records. I'm producing records. I'm in sessions. I'm writing. Like this is what I is meant to do. You know what I'm saying? So like you have to have that thick skin, especially out here in Cali, man. You know,
for sure. Tell me, what artist did you grow up listening to?
John Mayer.
Okay.
I was a huge John Mayer fan. To this day, it's my guy. I never met him. Would love to work with him one day. Yeah. Even just sit down and have a conversation with him.
Hopefully he peeps this and y'all can get some work together.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, no, John Mayer. It was a wide variety of stuff, man. But he was probably just the most relatable artist because, like the first song I ever learned how to play on the guitar was "Your Body Was a Wonderland," but because it was so easy, you know, and like all the girls liked it at the time, so I was just like,
"That you gotta do that."
I was doing it for the females at the time, but then you actually, you know, you acquire a love for the instrument, you know. Yeah. But the way that he played and his chord structures and his vocal melodies and stuff at the time, he dropped this album called Continuum that's still probably like in my top 3 of all time. Yeah. And it's just such a remarkable album from the way that it's mixed to the way that it's written. The players on it, Pino Palladino, Steve Jordan, and them coming together to do a whole trio. It's I don't know, maybe on some geek shit. Like I thought it was fire. Yeah. But that album and him and his production and the way that he writes really helped me out as a writer. Yeah. Because I tend to write really melancholy. Yeah. You know, and I've been trying to get away from that a little bit more. Which this whole album is very much not like that. So that I'm working on, or that I have finished, and I'm getting ready to do all that. But John Mayer, like I said, wide variety, bro. Like 50 Cent at the time was my shit too, and like Dr. Dre. Like when Chronic 2001 dropped, I thought that was amazing. I'm dancing to songs like that at the middle school dances. Yeah, you know, that was
that's
crazy.
Hella funny.
Bro. Like I can't really name like any other artist other than him off top, because like that's probably the most inspiring.
Yeah.
But all genres, bro.
Yeah, no, that's tight. That's tight for sure. As far as when you putting your music together, what is your process like for selecting beats and working on lyrics for your songs?
Well, I produce all my music.
Yeah.
So a lot of times, I think I've grown in the production aspect. I feel like a lot of times, if I'm making music for myself, I kind of sit in the room at first, and I'm just taking the temperature of me. You know what I'm saying? Like how I'm feeling, what kind of mood I'm in. And I used to start with like keys or synths, and I would build drums and bass off of that.
Yeah.
But now I start with drums and bass.
Yeah.
And I add off of that because I'm very much more into groove now.
Yeah.
Rather than like trying to build something off of just like a feeling.
Yeah.
I think that a groove, especially for my music and my particular genre and like the music you will hear from me over the next year, is very much like very groovy, and it's like it's very driving.
Yeah.
So, as far as writing, I always try to write my melodies and my lyrics very opposite of what the beat is.
Right.
Because you're too cliche or you're too very generic. If the song sounds sad and you write a slow melody and it's a sad lyrics, then what stands out about the record?
Yeah.
You know? So if it's a slow beat that I'm making at the time, I'm writing faster melodies, things that are a little bit different than what you would expect.
Yeah.
I would probably write a little bit of a different topic too, kind of similar but a little bit different. If the beat's happy, I'm going sad, but I'm gonna give it its happy twists and whatnot.
Yeah.
Selection, like I said, just taking the temperature of the room and how I feel with myself.
Yeah.
And it also kind of comes down to where I'm at with what I'm working on.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times, for me, I'm very project minded.
Yeah.
And that's probably a bad thing, but I like to work in like sets of 10 or 12.
Right.
So I see what songs have I been working on, what songs do I like, right?
Right.
And then I'll go through and I'll try to fill in the puzzle pieces. You know what I'm saying? Like you could have like let's say I have 3 songs that I'm like, hey, these are really dope records.
Yeah.
I got 3 here. Now let me make some songs that are really dope to fill in the pieces that don't necessarily need to be single sounding records, but are really strong B-sides.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And like maybe a lot of people think about hitting it out of the park with every single song every time. Attention span 2020, like I get it. But I'm very much a project baby, not a project baby, but like very much like a 1 through 10 type of dude, you know? Like I tell stories. So I fill in gaps.
Yeah. No, that's tight. I like it though. I feel like projects are very important. I feel like good projects stand the test of time too.
Absolutely. And at the end of the day, I want to be remembered for a solid body of work.
Yeah. Let's talk about the single you just dropped. Is this the single off the album that we're expected to see, or just okay?
Yes.
So let's talk about it. Roses. What was the mindset for the song?
Without going like too far down the rabbit hole, a while ago, me and a significant other had a really bad falling out. Yeah. And it wasn't necessarily about me as a person, but just kind of where I was at financially. Yeah. Where I was at as a dependent. Because when you're with somebody for a while, you know, you get to that point where it's like, if you're dating somebody for 3 years and it's a serious relationship and you're going to take that next step, you got to feel comfortable with the person and knowing that, like, if you're going to start a family, if you're going to do all that kind of stuff, they got to be dependable, you know? Yeah. And the person that I was in this relationship with comes from a very different family than me. Yeah. You know, where it's just like, always will be taken care of, always will be comfortable. You know what I'm saying? And at the time, I was living in a house with like my best friends, and we're just out here trying to like figure it out. Yeah. You know, I just wasn't comfortable at the time. I'm living paycheck to paycheck. I've got enough to pay my rent. I got enough to pay my car bill. Yeah. And then I've got groceries. Yeah. And then the rest is like wherever I can get in where you can fit in. You know. And we had a hard reality check on a trip that we had taken together, and she had said something to me about how the life that she wanted wasn't the life that she envisioned would be harder with me in it. And that really, really, really cut me. Like, like I got up, I walked out of the room, and we didn't talk for a really long time. And I thought that was like, I thought that person was it for me, you know, was very sure that person was it for me, and it crushed me to the point where like I just didn't want to do nothing. Yeah. You know, like even music was kind of hard, and like I had been in my own way for a while because I've been working on a bunch of projects and like trying to build a studio, and I hadn't put music out. I had gone from like, I think it was like 95,000 monthly listeners on Spotify to like 800. Yeah. Like just because I hadn't put out music in a while, and I was all excited to drop all this music, and it just crushed me. Yeah. So I was scheduled to go on tour over in Europe. So I went and did that, and that gave me some time and perspective, you know, get out all my issues and frustrations, get on the road, just kind of get away from it all. Yeah. But when I got back in January, end of December, early January, I had gotten back and I unpacked all my stuff, and I just found myself like, hey, I'm gonna go to the studio because I hadn't been there in a while. I was excited to get back in. Yeah. And Roses was the first thing that I made. Yeah. And the album that you're gonna get next year is it's 11 songs. I cut two. It was 11 songs, and all of those songs were made in chronological order, the way that they came out. Right. I mean, I made like minor edits and like mixing things of that nature. You know what I mean? But like all those songs, there were no songs that weren't used. Yeah. Everything just kind of came out as it was, and Roses was like the first song that I made, and the chorus. Well, I should say that the album and also the song was meant to be, if we never got a chance to ever speak again, because I told you we hadn't talked. Yeah. If we never spoke again, if I never saw you again, if I never heard from you, I wanted you to hear this song, or I wanted you to hear this album and understand exactly how I felt all along, and this is everything that you kind of need to hear. Yeah. So the album is called The Closure You Seek. Yeah. Because that's what I wanted to give, because I never want to be that guy to kind of leave things unanswered. Yeah. But I was perfectly okay at the time with just being like, that's it. Yeah. So Roses, like the chorus is, roses are red, hundreds are blue. Yeah. Money can't show my love for you. Roses are red, hundreds are green. Is love enough to stay with me? I was trying to make it kind of like an ultimatum, like, is this for love or is this for money? Yeah. And there's also lyrics in it where it says like, no, I don't got it like that, but I can get it for you. I dig myself in a hole. I hate the fact that I do. Like talking financials, like I'll put myself in debt to make this shit happen. It's very hard on your sleeve type shit, you know. Like I'm saying, I basically throwing myself on the floor. Like, what do you want? Like I'll literally do anything to keep this going. Type shit. So yeah, that's basically what the record is about.
No, that's deep. That's deep for sure. And I think when you make records like that, the fans can feel it too. Though.
Absolutely.
Nah, for sure. So with the project, what can the people expect with the project? You said it's 11 songs. You said it's dropping in 2021.
Yeah, 2021.
Do you have an exact month or a date? Not yet.
You're gonna get a lot of singles. You're gonna get a lot of singles.
Like, what is the process for you? Like, you say you didn't cut any songs. You said you made all these songs in chronological order. How was that process for you? Would you say that it was therapeutic in a way?
Yeah, because I think after I made the very last song, I finished. So yeah, I mean, you're never really done with a song. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like it's kind of like painting. Like you're never really done with a painting. It's just some point you have to stop and be happy with it. You know? Right. Because you can edit forever.
Right. For sure.
Yeah, for sure. It got to a point where I got done and I was just like, dang, like this is it. I got nothing else to say. Yeah. And when I realized that, I think that's the moment I was like, we're good. Yeah. Yeah.
Nah, that's dope. I can't wait to hear that project. I'm excited to hear it. Can you tell me, what is a perfect day for you?
A perfect day?
Yeah.
Wake up, go for like a 4 or 5 mile run with my dog, get a creation juice from Toluca Lake, go to the studio, make a song that I'm super happy with before like 3 o'clock. Yeah. Go out to lunch, get like a tri-tip sandwich. Yeah. Go back to the studio. Yeah. Chop it up with the team about what we can do to make the studio better, how we can bring in more money, how we can work together better. Yeah. By that time, the Lakers game's on. We win by 20. Yeah. Something like that. Yeah. And then I get an email saying that my song went #1 and then you're nominated for a Grammy.
Yeah, that would be great too.
Go to sleep.
Can you tell me you have you produced on a record that went gold? Can you tell me about that?
Yeah, Super Duper Kyle.
Yeah.
My boy Sonny Norway is good friends with him, and me and Sonny were roommates for a while.
Yeah.
And he invited me up to a couple sessions that Atlantic had rented out.
Yeah.
This house in Bel Air for Kyle to work on his first album called Light of Mine. And he had this song called To the Moon that was on a different beat, but he wanted to have a different beat option. So we ended up making a record that just ended up sticking. Yeah. And then from there on out, I got a couple opportunities to get a couple more placements from there, but that record ended up going gold.
That's tight.
It's kind of luck of the draw sort of thing, but it's definitely one of those things that, it helps your credibility. So,
yeah. Not for sure. Do you believe in aliens or ghosts?
Absolutely. I'm from the Northeast, bro, right outside of Gettysburg. Fun fact, if anybody knows anything about me, I watch Ghost Adventures like crazy on Travel Channel. Shout out Zach Bagans, Aaron Goodwin. Me and Aaron follow each other on Instagram. It's my guy. I watch every season. I've seen every episode. I'm a huge fan. I want to go see Zach Bagans' Haunted Museum in Las Vegas. I'm going to go sometime at some point. But yeah, I'm from the Northeast, bro. So like I grew up with all that kind of stuff. So yeah, huge believer.
Yeah, that's tight. What is your favorite food spot right now?
I just ate this spot today called Chop Stop in Van Nuys. It's off of what street is that off of? It's you take Balboa to, it's not sure, it's one up from Sherman Way. I think it's either Normandy or something else. I don't know, but it was, regardless, best tri-tip sandwich I've had in a minute. And I'm probably gonna go back tomorrow for some ribs. It was crazy. It was crazy. I don't gas food like that, bro. It was fire. Crazy. Crazy. The fries were on
gotta
point.
Try it out.
Yeah, it was gas, bro.
Tell me, how do you handle people that didn't support you at first, but of course when they see you having success, they want to come back into your life?
As long as they're listening to the music, I'm happy that they're there.
Yeah. Okay.
I need that 0.007 cents for every stream, dog.
Yeah.
So, run it up.
Yeah, for sure. I like to ask the question to everyone I interview: if you could pick yourself to be any animal in the world, what would it be and why?
That's a good one, man. Probably a giraffe, bro.
Really?
Yeah.
I think you might be the first person that ever said, why a giraffe?
Because I can see everything that's coming at me.
I think being a giraffe would be kind of tight too,
though. Yeah, exactly. Like I can see over everything. I can see everything that's coming to me.
Yeah.
I can run fast. It might take me a while to digest my food, but I eat fast anyway, so it's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Probably a giraffe, bro.
What advice can you give to independent artists?
Stay with it. Just stay with it. No matter how many times you hear no, if you believe that shit, just stay with it, because you're only going to level up. That no is going to fuel your fire to make you better. Yeah. Whether you're producing your own music or you're doing your own beat selections, it will force you. That no will force you to be better. It will force you to level up. So take that no with a grain of salt and just use it.
What is the biggest lesson you've learned in the industry?
I would say that everybody's a talker until they do something about it.
I like that. I actually like that a lot.
Everybody's a talker until they back it up.
People, I feel like, say they can do all these things and have all these connections, and the majority of the time, I feel like it pans out that they don't, or they're just hyping it up. But I'd be like, I hate to look like, I don't want to ever look like I told someone I could do something that I really can't do.
Yeah,
like
100%, bro.
I'll always be, I feel like, more like reserved than like going overboard. Just because if I do something and you say, "Wow, that's amazing," okay, cool. But like, I'm not gonna just tell you it's amazing.
Right.
Like,
absolutely.
You feel me?
I completely agree. Everybody gasses you until they gotta do something about it.
Do you look at comments?
Yeah. I respond to every one of them too.
Okay.
I have to. Algorithms, bro.
Good or bad, you respond, or?
I haven't really gotten a lot of negative comments lately, but then again, like I'm only getting like 100, 200 comments.
Yeah.
So, and that's mostly supporters, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. If it was negative, I'd be like, hey, appreciate the comment. Run it up. I'll take the algorithm.
Can you tell me though, what do you think has changed the most in your music over the years?
Production, mixing, and just the creativity.
Yeah.
100%. If you listen to what I started with to where I'm at now, you'd be fucking blown away.
Yeah.
I'm blown away.
That's good, though. Our progression is everything.
Everything.
For my final question, I want to ask you, what advice would you give to the younger you?
That the me that you're talking to now knows that the me from the future has a Grammy.
That's hard.
Yeah.
That's tight. I like that. Do you have any final words before you get out of here?
Just thank you very much for having me on here, bro. It's nice. I said I hadn't put out music in 2 years.
Yeah.
So this single is everything to me. And the next couple singles are everything to me.
Yeah.
And just to be sitting here, having an interview, having a light on, and just having a conversation with good people is everything.
No, I appreciate you. This was definitely a good conversation. I think the people that watch this, they'll definitely get some insight about you and just insight about just taking the jump like we talked about and just being what it's like being a creative on multiple levels, you know?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. But like I think the one thing I want everybody to know, or the last thing I really want to say is just thank you to everybody. Thank you to everybody who's been supporting me. Because I went through just that, my time of crisis I was telling you about, like, that put me in a dark place in my life, and it put me in a place where I just, not that I was going to give up on music, but it made me question a lot of things, you know?
Yeah.
So just to get music back out there and have good support and good, faithful fans means everything, and you need every last one of them.
Nah, for sure. For sure. Nah, I appreciate you, Austin Sexton. It was a great interview, and I wish you much success moving forward.
Thanks, bro. I really appreciate staying with you, man.
I appreciate it.
Is dope as shit.
So. Yeah, it's all love. Thank you.
Yeah, man.
You're locked in with the Innovators. Make sure to hit the subscribe button and click the notification bell.